Hi, I'm Lisa Hightower, and we're going to go over a little bit about how to set up a video shoot in an office is what we're using, but these same techniques will work great outside too. Okay, so here we are, and we're in the talent or the interview subject's office, and I'm trying to figure out where to put my camera. Now, I don't have my interview subject here yet. Normally, I like to set up everything before they get there, just so I have a little bit of breathing space. They're not looking at me, and there's no kind of awkward silence. So in our office here, I think I'm going to go ahead and position the camera somewhere around here and shoot in this direction. I want to show Katie, who's our interview subject, show her at work, show her kind of in her place of work. So I want her in front of the camera, or in front of the computer actually. And I also want to go ahead and close the blinds. Now I've already done this, but the blinds behind would bleed in natural light, which give you kind of a glow. So I've closed the blinds, so now we're only dealing with fluorescent light coming in. Okay, so setting up my camera. First thing I want to do is put my tripod about where I think it needs to go. Now, for the tripod height, I'm shooting for eye level with my subject. Now, she'll be sitting, and she's not too tall. She's not abnormally tall or abnormally short, so probably about here is what I'm shooting for. So I open up my tripod. And I want to face it towards my subject. Okay. Now I want to have the little handle part towards me so I can move the camera if I need to. All right, next thing to do is to go ahead and get out our camera. Okay, the first thing I want to do is go ahead and attach the tripod head to the camera. So I'm going to go ahead and slip this off here. And there's actually, what you can see is a little screw here. The easiest way to turn that screw and attach it to your camera is to use either a coin, like a penny or a nickel, or use your keys. Now I don't have a penny or a nickel, so I'm just going to use my keys. So I attach it here, pull out my trusty keys, and screw it on. Well, you know what, I'm going to have to tighten it just a little bit. There were times I used to use my fingernails to tighten it, but I tore up more manicures than I can tell you. So I don't use my fingernails anymore. Okay, so that's all tight. Looks good. Now I'm going to attach it to my tripod and lock it in. So the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and see if the height's all right. Well, it looks like it's all right. Now what you have is very handy is you've got a little handle here on your tripod. And you can actually screw the tripod a little bit higher. So if I need a couple more inches, I can go ahead and use them right here. So this will kind of save me, so I don't need to adjust the bottom anymore and just adjust the top. So it probably will be about here. That should be eye level. All right, next thing I'm going to need are batteries. So let's go ahead and get the camera batteries. Those are going to be in the top of your camera bag, and I always take the biggest one first. Now the camera batteries will probably have this back attachment. It's just kind of a little cover. You want to take your cover off, put it back in the bag. And now we're going to attach this to our camera. All you do, there's little teeth in here, and you want to hook the teeth with the teeth over here. So it's a little bit tricky, but we'll see if we can get it to work. Yeah, let's try this way. Now when you get the battery in there, it'll actually make a click, and so you'll know you've got it when you hear the click. Next thing we're going to do is put in the tape. So the first thing you have to do is actually turn on the camera. So you have to make sure the battery is in at this point. Push this down and click it to play on the side. You can see it's right up there. All right, the next thing you want to do is click on top. It says open eject, and just open it up. Okay, so now we want to put the tape in right in here. The tape goes in. You want to make sure that the two holes are facing that way. So you slide that in here, all the way down. Now the only part you actually push is right here. There's a little word that says push, little identifier. Push that in, and the camera actually will retract it, so you don't have to worry about that part. Once it's all done, you just close it like this, and you're ready. Next thing I want to do is set up my microphone. So in the camera bag, you're going to have two pieces. You're going to have a transmitter and a receiver. The transmitter plugs into the camera, and you can tell that's the one with the antenna. This plugs into your camera, and then this one plugs into the person. You clip that to the person's top. Okay, now what we're going to need to do is put 9 volts. When you get the microphones, they shouldn't have any batteries in them. So we'll go ahead and open this up and put 2 fresh batteries in here. Okay, and this one. Okay. Now, what you want to do is make sure that these are both on the same channel. On the very top here, you've got something that says off, F1 and F2, and they're on both of them. All they need to do is be both on the same channel. So let's make sure they're both on F1. So this one is on F1 right in the middle, and we'll put this one on F1 as well. Now what you'll see if it's on the right one, you'll see green on your receiver, and you'll just see red on your transmitter. I don't know why, but the transmitter never shows a different color. It always shows red. So we'll go ahead and put this over here. That's going to be for Katie, our interview subject, and we're going to plug this in. Okay, when you open up here, there's a little red button that says microphone. You want to go ahead and put that in there. Now the trick is that this one, you'll just have to kind of hold on to because there's not really a good place to clip it. So at this point, we're just going to kind of leave it attached right up here. Okay, so it's a little bit fragile. You just want to leave that one alone for now. Now you've got your camera set up. The next thing is your headphones. The best way to do that is just go ahead and attach your headphones to the very top of your microphone. Now, right into the top of the transmitter. There's a top right here that says ear. Right next to off F1, F2, there's one that says ear. You want to plug it in right there. That will allow you to monitor your audio as it's coming in. Okay, so we're going to leave that right there. And then the next step is to go ahead and bring in your interview in. And go ahead and talk to your subject, get them set down where you want them, and to do some final adjustments. So now we've brought in our talent. So Katie will be our interview subject today, and I'm going to go ahead and mic her up and then go ahead and do a little bit of pre-roll with her. I'll show you how to do that. So first thing you want to do is mic her up. So as far as the transmitter, we're all set here. My job now is to attach the microphone. Now, word to the wise. It is better to let people mic themselves because you don't want to get into the personal space. This is her personal space. So no hands, no grabby on the personal space. Okay. Also, if you have a team, I try to have women work with women, men work with men. Just because sometimes there's lewd, lascivious comments made by talent and by videographers that are not necessary, and also because it just seems a little bit easier. If I'm a woman, I can work a little bit easier with a woman. If I was a guy, I would really just hand off the mic and let her do all of it while explaining what to do. I wouldn't even try to get this close. Because there's something about men and women in personal space. Okay, that being said, I'm going to say, Katie, what I'd like for you to do is to go ahead and clip this to the top of your dress. Now this is going to be a little bit harder. She doesn't have an obvious neckline. A lot of button-up shirts, very easy. You can go ahead and clip it. Hers is a little bit tougher. So normally what I would do is ask the person to thread this actually up their shirt like this and clip it to the very top of their shirt. That's similar to mine. Now with hers, it's going to be a little bit different. Okay, now just to reiterate, I am not threading with the person. They are threading themselves. Okay, that being said, I'll say, Katie, can you go ahead and just clip this to the top of your shirt right up there? Good. So now the trick is this. We want to avoid having this big black cord here. Well, there's not much we can do with her dress type. Now, here's what we've got to have too. The microphone is all the way over here. If she's talking to me, it may or may not pick up her sound. So ideally, we want it to be a little bit closer to her chest, a little bit closer to her mouth line. So can you bring that in just a little bit to the right?
Right here?
Yes, that'd be great. Thank you. Now, here we're going to have a dangling wire. Now, ideally, the thread method, we get that wire out of the way. We want to make sure, again, this is turned on before we go up. So yes, this is on F1. And we'll just say, can you put this in your lap? Okay, the next thing to do is go ahead and test your audio. Before the real interview gets started, I want to go in here, make sure this is kind of being held, put on my headphones. And at this point, I want to have my talent talk a little bit. Katie, can you go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit? Just about what year you are in school and what you're taking in school.
Sure. My name is Katie McWaters, and I'm a senior in the Agriculture, Education, and Communications department.
Good. Okay, now here's what I'm doing. While she's talking, I'm doing two things. I'm listening to the audio here, and I've also hit record in here, and I'm making sure the tape is rolling. So there's a little bit of B-roll, or just a little bit of roll that I do at the very beginning of the tape. What you'll find is the first 3 seconds of your tape and the last 3 seconds of the tape tends to have glitches. And so you don't want the good stuff in the glitchy part. So you record a little bit, and it allows you to get past that glitchy part. Now, the next section we're going to do is do a white balance. So before you actually do any shooting, you want to do a white balance. And what that does is it tells the camera what color white is. So what you want to do is have your interviewee subject hold a piece of white paper right up towards their face. And then you want to zoom in entirely so that your camera only has white, is covering the whole frame. And then you do a manual white balance. And if you're not sure about how to do a manual white balance, you can always check with your manual. And if you click in there, you can go ahead and find out exactly where manual white balance is, but it'll be one of your menu settings. So that's what you want to do before you get all the way started with your interview. So I've tested the audio, she sounds good, and at this point, whenever she's ready, we can go ahead and start the interview. So that will take you all the way through the interview process.